The early morning shift at the hotel was always quiet, with the faint hum of the coffee machine filling the lobby, the occasional soft footsteps of housekeeping staff, and the gentle murmur of background music playing from hidden speakers. For Anna, this time of day was her sanctuary. She loved the calm before the storm, the hours before guests poured in with their questions, demands, and complaints. It gave her a chance to prepare reports, tidy the front desk, and greet the rare early visitor with a genuine smile. It was on one of those peaceful mornings that she first noticed him. A tall man, perhaps in his late 40s or early 50s, who walked into the hotel cafe without much fanfare. His clothes were neat but understated, well-tailored but not flashy. His salt and pepper hair was always perfectly in place, and there was something in his demeanor that spoke of quiet confidence rather than arrogance. He ordered a black coffee, paid in cash, and took his usual seat at the small table near the window, where the morning sunlight spilled across the floor. At first, Anna assumed he was just a regular customer, maybe someone who lived nearby and liked the hotel's coffee. He never seemed to be in a rush, never brought a laptop like the businessmen who occasionally stopped by, and never looked at his phone endlessly like everyone else. He simply sat there, sipping his coffee, watching the world go by outside. She noticed he came almost every day, always at the same time. He greeted her politely with a soft, "Good morning," and a small smile, but never lingered at the counter. The staff had started referring to him quietly as the quiet coffee guy. One morning, curiosity got the better of her. When he came to pay, she smiled and said, "You must really like our coffee." He returned her smile, his eyes warm. "It's good coffee, but it's more than that. It's peaceful here." Anna tilted her head. "Not many people come to a hotel cafe every day unless they're staying here." "I suppose I'm not most people," he replied lightly, before taking his coffee to his usual spot. From then on, Anna began chatting with him whenever he came by. Sometimes it was small talk about the weather, sometimes about books or travel. She learned that he enjoyed reading, disliked overly sweet drinks, and had an appreciation for quiet spaces. He asked her about her job, but never in a way that felt prying, more like he was genuinely interested in her day-to-day life. It wasn't until weeks later, on a rainy day, that she finally learned his name. He came in shaking off his umbrella, drops of water glistening on his coat. "Good morning, mister," she began, realizing she didn't even know how to address him. "Daniel," he said simply. Just Daniel, became a part of Anna's daily routine. She found herself looking forward to their short conversations, to the way he seemed to truly listen when she spoke. He never gave away much about himself, but there was a kindness in his eyes that made her feel comfortable. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. The hotel was unusually busy, with staff rushing around and managers speaking in hushed but urgent tones. Word quickly spread, an important inspection was happening. A group of executives in sharp suits was touring the property with the general manager, making notes and discussing potential improvements. Anna stayed at the desk, trying to look as professional as possible. And then Daniel walked in. What happened next left her stunned. The general manager, who usually barely noticed the front desk staff unless something went wrong, immediately left the group of executives and walked straight to Daniel, smiling warmly. "Mr. Grant, what a pleasure to see you," the manager said, his voice dripping with respect. Anna froze. Mr. Grant, as in Grant Hotels. The name was on every official letterhead, on the ownership plaque in the lobby, even in the employee handbook. Daniel, Mr. Grant, shook the manager's hand. "Just checking in to see how things are going." "Carry on," he said, before heading toward the cafe as if nothing was out of the ordinary. Anna's mind was spinning. All this time, the man she thought was just a quiet, lonely coffee customer was the owner of the entire hotel. She felt her face flush as he approached the counter. "You own this place?" she asked in disbelief. He gave her a sheepish smile. "I do, but I prefer to come here as just Daniel. People treat you differently when they know who you are." Anna blinked. "You've been sitting in that corner for months and never said a word." "That's the point," he said gently. "I learn more about this place and the people in it when they don't know I'm the owner." From that day forward, Anna saw Daniel in a new light, but what surprised her most was how nothing really changed between them. He was still, just Daniel, in their conversations, still asked her opinion on the little things, still listened with the same quiet attentiveness. The only difference was that sometimes, after their talks, she would notice small changes in the hotel, better seating in the cafe, upgraded lighting, more welcoming check-in policies. One morning, over coffee, Daniel told her a bit about his life. How he started working in small motels, doing every job from cleaning rooms to serving breakfast. How he saved for years before buying his first property, how he failed more than once, and how he learned to value people over profits. Success, he said thoughtfully, isn't about how much you have. It's about how much you give. Anna carried those words with her. She realized that Daniel's daily visits weren't about coffee or even about checking on the hotel, they were about connection. In a world where people saw him as a business title or a bank account, Anna had seen him simply as a man. Months later, on her birthday, Anna arrived at work to find a small gift box on the front desk. Inside was a silver bracelet with a tiny coffee cup charm. A note in neat handwriting read, "Thank you for the mornings, Anna, just Daniel." She smiled, tears stinging her eyes. He hadn't signed it as Mr. Grant, and that made it even more meaningful. From then on, no matter how hectic her day was, she always made time for their morning talks. She knew that behind the unassuming presence and simple coffee ritual was a man who had built an empire but had never forgotten the value of genuine human connection. And Daniel knew that in Anna, he had found someone rare, someone who saw past the wealth, the title, and the reputation. Over time, the hotel lobby became more than just a workplace for Anna. It became a place where two very different lives met in quiet understanding, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary people are hiding in the most ordinary moments. Every morning, when the smell of fresh coffee filled the air, Anna would glance toward the table by the window. Without fail, Daniel would be there, his cup in hand, ready for another conversation. And in those moments, the hotel didn't feel like a workplace, it felt like a place where stories began, where kindness mattered more than status, and where, just Daniel, would always be welcome. Because sometimes, life's most heartwarming surprises come when you least expect them, served quietly, with a simple cup of coffee and a smile.